Hi all, Christine Byer here, licensed esthetician for 19 years, and today I'm talking about nasolabial folds. That's right, these big floppy things that happen on people that used to be up here when we were in our 20s and sag down and give us a little flap right here in our 40s and 50s. So stay tuned, I'm going to tell you how to help it. So, nasolabial folds, they are the bane of our existence. They have a lot to do with fat padding. The good news is that usually when people have big nasolabial folds, they usually have a little bit more roundness to our face. So the trade-off with that is that usually a rounder face ages more gracefully. So I'm hoping that's your case, but let me tell you how making this nasolabial fold look better. There are a couple different things you can do. If you have microcurrent, I'm going to show you a move I did on my mother-in-law, which actually helps shorten this. So what happens, and I'll have to grab a picture of the fat padding and how it migrates as we age, but these lengthen, right? This whole pocket sort of lengthens and folds over itself. And so what we want to do is shorten that, and shorten this. The area between here and here can lengthen as well. And so we'll do some moves to come straight up here. I like to do a move that goes straight up like that. Say you have a microcurrent. What you would do is you would grab it and you would go straight up. You would do it nice and slow, and you would go from here to here, and you'd also go from here to here, and then go in the middle of that and here to here. Now, a lot of these movements are gonna be fascia releasing. What I like to do on my clients is come in here and you go and hug up underneath that cheekbone. And this is some deep fascia that's usually really sturdy on people. You'll come in here and just release that deep fascia. If you have a lot of sinus issues, this is just gonna be downright gnarly. It's gonna be dense and sort of viscous underneath there. And what you need to do is sort of start loosening that up. If it's a little painful, that's kind of typical, just due to your tolerance. This usually feels quite good. Gosh, my sinuses have been bothering me like crazy. This time of year is beautiful, but it's also like sinus hell for anywhere that it's blooming, which is most of the US. So you'll do this first, right? And then if it's really bad, I like to come in here and sort of anchor where you're holding this area from the corner of your mouth to the corner of your nose. You're just kind of holding that, and you get up underneath your fold and you just wiggle, 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 and bring it up. This is light at first, right? Underneath here, that's deep. That's a deeper move. And then this will be lighter at first, and then you can sort of dig a little deeper. You know, nothing that's gonna hurt, or this actually should feel good. And when I do these movements where I sort of twist like this releases fascia. And this is a light pressure. This is about a nickel's worth of pressure. If you go too deep too soon, it's not gonna release. So you can almost see how that's popping up as opposed to this one already. And so yeah, just do about 5 minutes of sort of wiggles and walks up underneath that, because what happens when we get those folds is we have a lot of inflammation. It's almost like a little reservoir that lymph and just stuff gets stuck. And so we need to go in and just wiggle it and massage it. You know, I'll dig my fingers into it just lightly. I say dig, but I'm not reading dig, no death grips here. All right. So once you get that sort of flowing, then you can go in with your microcurrent and go straight over that and then go up, because you're trying to shorten, like I said, the levators and the cheek muscles, right? So you're trying to shorten this whole unit. So that's how you work a nasolabial fold. You would go in and do the same thing on the other side, feel for the cheekbone. And I'll start out here on the majority of my clients, and it will release a whole litany of things that are going on in the face, because you know it's the center of the face. And so you lift this, and so everything else sort of lifts. Just keep releasing. And as long as you feel dense little pockets, just release this. And you're just hugging up underneath that bone. All right? And then, remember what I said? Corner of nose, corner of mouth, underneath the fold. And first, we're sort of applying tension between the 2 points. Tension, right? Wiggle, wiggle. And then sort of feel for, just dig a little bit, just with fingertips. This is kind of hard to do if you got fingernails, but if you got fingernails, then you could use your knuckle. So just giving it some room to drain. So once you get some blood flow and that's all draining, then you can go in and lift the muscles. Because if you're full of a soupy mess, if you just got a lot of lymph in there and congestion, this won't move much. And you know, I do this a lot to my own face. So it will fill with blood and start to flush out almost immediately. If yours is really compacted, and I see this a lot on clients, the skin is dull through this area, they may have large pores, they may have excess redness, because they're not getting a lot of circulation in that area. And if you go back and look at the video of my mother-in-law from, I think, 2017, and the most recent one I did, this is where she collects a lot. The cool thing is, you go in there, you flush it out, you do a series of flushes, a week or two, and really get this area moving, it will stay. And if you're an active person and you exercise, it will get things moving again, and it can change the face. When I redid my mother-in-law, I wanted that wow effect I got in 2017, but the truth was I had released so much stuff in her face from 2017 that it stayed and sort of changed the way her face flows. All about facial flow. That's it for today. I hope that you learned something. You can also use other modalities. If you have a lot of sag, you can go in with some radio frequency, and you would use much the same vectors where you're going straight up. Vectors, lines that you want to shorten. That's what we call in radio frequency technology or radio frequency terminology. That's what we call it, vectors. And so we would do lines straight up, or lines from here all the way up, from here all the way up, and then this way and this way, because we're trying to lift here to here and from here to here and sort of flatten out this fold that happens on certain face types. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.